So for Christmas, I got this really cool crock pot express because my crock pot broke. So my daughter bought this for me. And up until now, I have really been against pressure cookers because I feel like they are just explosions in the kitchen waiting to happen. But I'm told I'm overreacting, that people use them safely every day, so I'm going to give it a shot. In here, I have a chicken. I don't remember how big it is, but I want to say that it's maybe 5 pounds, 5 or 6 pounds. I put a little bit of butter up on top and some fresh cracked black pepper. And now I'm just going to finish seasoning it with a little bit of salt. And I'm going to put a little bit of granulated garlic. What I like about this is there's a rack in the bottom. You can't see it because I already put the chicken in, but it's sitting on a rack. And the rack stands about 1.5 inches off the base. That's a little bit of onion powder. And so that means that as the fats render, I don't have to worry about the chicken sitting in them and cooking in them. Now, what I don't like is that the booklet that it came with does not tell me how many pounds, or should I say how many minutes per pound. So I'm going to kind of wing this based on some other directions it gives in the book for like ribs and pulled pork and whatnot. So I have a couple of sprigs of fresh rosemary. Actually, this was fresh rosemary, but then I dried it. It's from my garden. And I also have some sage. Same thing, was fresh, but now it's dried. I'm gonna stick that in there. And of course, some fresh thyme, which I don't know about you, but I never really seem to have enough of lately. Okay, so now I'm going to put this lid on it. I think 35, or should I say 45 minutes should be fine. I don't want to cook it for any longer than that because the last thing I want is pulled chicken. Not trying to do that. Okay, so I have it locked. I have this set. And I guess at this point now, I just tell it to start. All right, let's see what happens. All right, so when it's done, I'm going to show you how it came out. Stick around. It's going to be good. Okay, so this just finished. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to release the steam. But unlock it and see what's going on inside. Well, so right out of the gate, it looks like it was boiled or steamed, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. But more importantly, is it cooked? And I have my Insta-Read thermometer. And I'm going to just see if it's up to temperature. Let's see. I want it to be at least 165 degrees. And it doesn't look like it is. So that's a little concerning that it cooked for 45 minutes and it's not done. And let me just check one more part. You always want to check the fattest part, or should I say the thickest part of the meat. Now this part here that I'm checking, climbing slowly, but it's still not anywhere near what it needs to be, which is maybe why it has this I'm a little boiled look going on over here. So I think I'm going to put it back on. Make sure this is closed. I'm going to put it back on, meat, and I'm only going to do it, because that was 45 minutes, I'm thinking another 12 minutes, because I don't want it falling off the bone. Oh, 15 is the smallest amount of time, so I guess we're going to do it for 15 minutes. All right, let's see what happens. It stopped steaming, so now it's counting down how long it's been on warm. And I'm going to turn that off, see if I can unlock it and see what's going on in here. Okay, so, ooh, steaming up my lens. Look at that. And I can hear it. Hear that? When I released the steam, my whole kitchen smelled like rosemary chicken, which was nice. think I'm going to do what I normally would do. If I took this out of the oven, I would let it rest on the counter covered for at least 20 minutes before I cut that. So let me transfer this into a dish and get it covered and let it rest. And then we're going to see what the hype is all about. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Even though I'm sure it's really cooked this time, I'm going to double check the temperature inside and be sure. And just like before, I'm looking for at least 165 degrees in the fattest spot. And this is actually off the charts, so I hope it's not going to be dry. This was definitely a 6-pound chicken. I checked that before, and I did it for the first time, 45 minutes. Second time, it would only let me do 15 minutes, so an hour is definitely too much. 45 minutes is not enough, so maybe next time I'll do it for 50 minutes, and we'll see how that goes. Oddly enough, there was no guide in the book of how many minutes per pound to cook chicken on the bone, off the bone. It just talks about pulled pork and ribs, so I guess this is one of those trial by fire things. You know how you just wish there were times when the camera was rolling? Well, this was one of those, because I went to take the chicken out. I told you there's this grate that goes on the bottom, and it was sitting in that. And so I used 2 pair of tongs to lift it out, and of course it was uneven. And as I brought it to the cutting board, it kind of fell over, and both legs blew off the sides, and the wings literally just kind of, I don't know, exploded, fell apart, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to say this chicken's definitely cooked, which we knew. Overcooked, obviously. But hey, as long as we have it all pulled apart like this, let's see if it is moist and if it's retained a lot of its juices, because to me that's the most important part when you're making a whole chicken. So let's see. The breast usually winds up getting dried out, and I'm going to tell you, look at this. Look at the amount of juices in there. So right off the bat, I am super happy about that, because there's nothing worse than a dry chicken. And this one's not very stable because, like I said, it's a little overcooked, but I just want to take a piece off here and show you. That is super moist and juicy. Let's see how it tastes. For that being breast meat, it is not dry at all, and this chicken is more than done. So I'm very, very happy about that. Legs and thighs always maintain their juiciness more, because there's just inherently, there's more fat in the dark meat than there is in the white meat. But let's see. Wow, look at that. Falling right off the bone. That looks good. That's my favorite part. That's really good. I can taste the herbs too. So I'm going to say, all in all, this was a success, even though it looks like my chicken exploded. Next time, I definitely will not keep it in for as long as I did before. But it was a good starter chicken. And look in the bottom of this. This is hot, so I can't grab it. But this is very exciting to me, because I'm going to run this through my fat separator, and I'm going to make a quick gravy with that. So that's super exciting. That's a lot of beautiful juices down there on the bottom. And look how dark and rich they are. So that's it. Okay, guys. Just wanted to pop on, let you guys know that I have come into this century and got one of these fancy crock pot expresses that actually doubles as a pressure cooker. All right. Have a good night, everyone.